So this is why I keep talking about these American lies. This is why I keep talking about this, because I need you to understand we deserve better than this. Welcome to American Lies. This is part 3 in a series where I talk about the lies told to white America to keep us separate from our black and brown brothers and sisters so that we can be used as a tool by the minority who rule this country. And I started this week by writing about a lie that a lot of us believed, especially liberal white people, that racism in our country was gone. Poof, post-racial society. We did it. We made it. Barack Obama got elected, a black man in the highest position in the land. We'd done it. And then immediately there was a reaction, right? Barack Obama gets elected in 2008. By 2009, we have the Tea Party movement. Out of the Tea Party movement stems the MAGA movement, which is openly, brazenly racist, and about 30% of our country is still gung-ho on it, even though we're starving in the United States while our president builds a ballroom and siphons money out of all of our coffers to pay for an illegal war in Iran, all of these other things, right? 18 years. It's been 18 years since Barack Obama got elected. And so while I started talking about the lie that we live in a post-racial America, which I don't think anyone who has eyes open in 2026 actually believes, I came to a different conclusion. Racism will exist until we change the founding documents of our country. Earlier this week, the Supreme Court ruled that a portion of the Voting Rights Act is no longer applicable. They gutted it, as many lawyers said, right? I'm not an attorney. I didn't read the 92-page brief, but attorneys that I know and I trust did. And they're attacking the 19th Amendment as well with the SAVE Act. Now, that's been tabled, but that is a goal. The goal of that is to make sure that married women in the United States have a hard time voting. And when you have a hard time voting, voting's not accessible. That's voter suppression, right? We've got black and brown Americans, specifically in the South, which is where I am from, which is where I grew up, losing some of their representation based off of this Supreme Court ruling. We've got the SAVE Act coming through. We've got a president who's trying to rip apart anything in our government that keeps us safe. The EPA, the FDA, the NLRB, OSHA, these are all things that are on the chopping block because we're trying to get back to the equilibrium of minority rule. That is what our documents say today. Our documents were written by the uber wealthy, for the uber wealthy, designed to harm everyone else while they made money hand over fist. They wanted to create a nobility without the titles. They wanted to create this hierarchy. And for a long time, it was very easy to keep it racially segregated because we had slavery from the 1600s until 1865. But what the Supreme Court did to the Voting Rights Act earlier this week is exactly what the Supreme Court did in 1896 to the 14th and 15th Amendments, just 25 years after they'd been ratified. They passed down a ruling, an opinion called Plessy versus Ferguson, and they said separate but equal is just fine. It's A-okay. No worries. Which would be the law of the land until the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act and the Fair Housing Act of the 1960s. The immediate response to these acts in the 1960s is the Heritage Foundation being formed. The Powell Memo, the moral majority. There is a minority in our country who wants minority rule. And until we deal with the fact that our Constitution is literally designed for that, it's still going to get ripped away from us. All of the inclusion, all of the things that we work for, all of the things that our ancestors have worked for, the women, Black Americans, the indigenous people with the American Indian movement, everything that's been worked for and that has been won has been ripped away. And God forbid we work together like Fred Hampton and his Rainbow Coalition, or like the IWW, the Industrial Workers of the World. When Black Americans and white Americans begin to work together, the government sabotages it every single time because we have more power than them. Again, in the 1898, Black and white Americans worked together. They won They won a city council and mayoral race in Wilmington, North Carolina, my home state. A fusion government between two different races. And there was a literal coup d'etat. A coup d'etat on our fucking soil that nobody talks about. So this is why I keep talking about these American lies. This is why I keep talking about this, because I need you to understand we deserve better than this. We deserve a country where the American dream can be fucking realized, where the American dream is not just a promise. It's not just a dream that we see with our eyes closed. We see it and we realize it. And to do that, we have to create an equitable society, and it starts with new founding documents. Because I can tell you right now that the Supreme Court is going to go after the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. There's already a movement to go after the 19th Amendment. And it's been done before. They can gut all of our rights that are not in the Constitution. This is a moment in time where we have a lot to lose, but we also have everything to fucking gain. We have everything to gain, but we have to work together. And for white Americans, that means understanding that the America we lived in, me, you, and I, is completely different than any other race in this country. And by design, they've kept us as separate as possible. They've sowed the seeds of hatred. They've made sure that by design, we think of a black woman when we hear the word welfare because of Ronald fucking Reagan. So we're going to keep talking about the American lies. We're going to keep talking about change and how it not just is going to happen in this country, but how it must happen and how we need to be ready for it. The people, not the oligarchs, not Palantir, not fucking Elon Musk, Donald Trump. No, us. We need to be ready for it. Because there are more of us than there are of them. You hear? You can subscribe to my Substack. You can subscribe to this channel. I'm over on Instagram and TikTok and all of the places. Thank you for listening. And you can see all of my book lists and recommendations in the description of this video, okay? I love you. We deserve better. We have to demand it, and together we'll get there.